Hey, Shab, how's it? Welcome to the first podcast that we're doing with
First F1 pod, Keenan.
Keenan. I always get your name
Shocking,
wrong.
yeah.
I always get your name wrong. Well, welcome, viewers. If you're viewing this for the first time, you're literally at the first one.
No, that's true. You can say you were here from the beginning.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. This is what we like to call HP Lekker Entertainment Sport. But I've invited Mr. K.
There we go.
I
Safe
think
way, yeah.
That's the safe way.
Yeah.
To come and discuss F1. He actually introduced me to it last year, I think it was. Right?
It was very close to the end of last season, actually.
Yeah.
I think you had about 5 races left, and I was told you start watching it.
Might have been actually 2, because I think it was in December.
Actually,
Somewhere
yeah,
there.
because you came to watch the Qatar race.
I think it was.
At my place, remember?
And then the last one, I didn't watch it with you.
You didn't watch the last race, but the
Yeah.
championship was getting heated, so I was like, come, start watching it.
That was epic, though.
No, that was good. I think that's a whole nother podcast. there.
That's another one we should
we can
discuss.
talk about that forever.
Hey, man, it's going to be a long journey, eh?
I'm telling you.
Hey, there's a lot to talk about in
No,
F1.
there is a lot to talk
And,
about.
it's quite an exciting sport, I have to say.
It's a fast-paced sport, excuse the
Yeah.
pun,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
things
true.
happen just like that.
eh? And there's a lot of politics.
You'd be surprised actually how many politics there are. When
I have to say, like, when I first learnt it, I thought it was just like normal
100,
sport.
it's just racing. You get in your car, you drive, and that's it.
And that's about it.
Behind the scenes, there's
There's
everything.
a lot,
there.
there's a lot. So I hope if you're viewing this and you also like a newbie like myself, I hope you're going to learn a lot from this one.
Yeah, hopefully.
And we get to introduce you to a different type of sport.
I
Because
think
I didn't know it.
I think it's a good time for people to start watching F1. It's like there's never really a peak with this type of sports. It's
Yeah,
forever
yeah.
changing, but I think it's very interesting now. And this is
Yeah.
a good way to get involved in watching F1.
Yeah.
It's good to pick up a few things, learn how
That's
it
true.
works and stuff like that. Yeah.
Hey man, you taught me very well.
I try.
I was hooked like from the first time.
That's
like,
it.
I was hooked.
Yeah, there's
bro.
one key thing to get people hooked. And
Yo,
we'll
yo.
discuss it later.
So yeah, maybe let's get to what we're going to be discussing. Eh?
100%.
I mean, F1 there's a lot of stuff to discuss.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I want to like keep it as short and as brief as possible.
Yeah.
And just keep it exciting. Eh? I think that's the best way to
Yeah,
do it.
I'm there for that. I like it.
Yeah. So what we're going to discuss first is Carville. Like that was an exciting week to
Definitely.
see the new cars and
Yeah.
what everybody's just like bringing out the bag. And then also we're going to look at like the first race that we had last week.
Yeah.
It's last week at the time of recording.
Yeah.
Which was also quite interesting.
It was.
How it came out. Eh?
It was very interesting. A lot of topics to discuss there as well.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So, and then also we're going to talk about the upcoming race. And then last but not least, because this is the first episode, and when you first introduced me to it, you said I must watch Drive
to Survive. That's
So
it.
I think we need to discuss.
We have
like,
to talk about Drive to Survive. Season 4 came out, 17th of March?
Yeah, I think it was.
Have
yeah.
you finished it?
11th or 17th. I actually finished
11th.
it today.
Oh,
At
that's
work.
great. I finished it like the day it came out.
way.
Yeah, that got me hooked, that thing. So I'm keen to talk about that.
Is it?
But for car reveal, so for those of you at home, there was a big change up in the cars between 2021 and 2022. There's
Yeah.
a lot of different changes. Basically, Formula One said we're trying to create more competition, closer driving, because there were some teams.
to make it exciting.
100%. There were some teams driving up here, you couldn't
Yeah.
touch them, and then some down there.
Yeah.
And now, if you look at the first race, teams were like brought all to
So
the
really
same
what
level.
they were trying to do is like balance the competition.
100%, because it became towards the end of last season. It became money matters. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, true.
if you have the biggest team, you can just spend whatever you want, upgrade your car, you're good to go. Teams
Yeah.
at the bottom were struggling, so
And
this helps them out a lot.
So like with you looking at with those regulations coming in, what was like your one? I know there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of cars, but like,
Yeah.
what was that one that stood out for you?
I think the tires.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
So in all, well, in the regulation itself, is the change of the tires that stood out for you?
Yeah, it's because it's quite an interesting regulation. Because for me, the reason it's interesting is because I don't think it makes that much of a difference, but
Yeah.
they're so persistent on it. So a lot of the main changes revolve around aerodynamics. I think
Yeah.
also a big one is the front wing and the rear wing.
Yes,
completely
yes,
different
completely
specs and
different,
everything.
eh?
They look completely new.
So everybody had to like bring out like
100%.
new stuff.
There's new things. Side pods were introduced to the cars. Basically, aerodynamics took a whole new turn. Instead of introducing downforce. So your car is here. Instead of introducing downforce by pushing the air over, they push the air through the car. And underneath the car, actually. So
that's why
suck
like
the
you
car down.
got Red Bull coming up with weird side
They
pods.
were, Red Bull side pods like split into two, actually.
Yes.
Then HAAS, their side pods were massive. Mercedes didn't have any side pods.
But Fetu, you gotta say, HAAS has pulled one
No,
out
it's
the bag.
a masterclass by Gunther, honestly. The team principal, Gunther Steiner.
He's epic.
Dude,
He's so
that
cool,
man.
though.
He under so much pressure, he's revived that team.
Yeah,
People, there's a meme about him like
and the boat. Is
getting
it the boat or I
no,
about the boat?
because Mazepin is no longer racing for them because of the whole Russia-Ukraine thing.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a lucky turn that happened for Gunther because he got rid of Kevin Magnussen, got rid of Grosjean. Then he got Mazepin.
He had to because of the accident.
Well, he retired, so kind of.
Yeah.
Then he got Schumacher and Mazepin. Then he got Mazepin's dad to fund the team. Got rid of Mazepin, brought back Magnussen.
And then it's like,
and
boom,
now he's like, right,
it.
He's taking over Mercedes and everything like that.
So, but I mean, out of all the car reveals, I didn't expect that HAAS will be one that is going to be competitive. But I remember having a conversation with you after church, and you were like, "Doggos, I'm telling you, dude, like,
we'll
watch
pull it out
out.
the bag. I'm telling you,
watch out, you know." But I gotta say, one of my favorite teams is Ferrari.
And they killed it with their car.
Killed it.
Best car, 100%, best looking car.
And I mean, I was listening to, I think it's Bartox, one of the journalists for F1. He's on the Drive to Survive.
Yes.
And he was saying that, you know, if you look at the team principal, Ferrari, he spent a lot of time during the season last year, like in Italy.
He wasn't even at the races.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and now it looks like it's about to pay dividends.
Yeah. So the thing with Ferrari, and you'll find it with a lot of teams, if you look at 2018 Ferrari, their car was flying. It was hands down the fastest, but they broke regulations. So they kind of got a penalty. They had to change the car. Then they started doing really bad.
Yes.
Then they realized, okay, there's new cars coming in 2022. Bonotto, the masterclass that he is, instead of saying, okay, let's plan our car for next year, he was looking way into the future. He said, 2022, everyone's going to have a new car. Let's start planning now. So you have teams like that, teams like HAAS, they were never going to win last year's championship. So why
they were very slow. And the drivers also didn't do them any favor.
So why work on your current car when you have a whole year to prep for the new regulations? Same with, you'd find Mercedes and Red Bull. I think one of the big debates there is that last year, Mercedes, they found, listen, Red Bull and Verstappen, they're taking this championship. We need to do something now. That's where you have the Brazil race coming in where Hamilton, he qualifies last and he finishes first. His power unit was just destroying Oaks. Mercedes put all their energy into the current car and they didn't have enough resources to focus on 2021.
So do you think they're going to lack this year?
100%. I think in the beginning they'll lack. But Mercedes being Mercedes,
and the amount of money they have,
they've won 8 championships in a row. They'll work. They'll catch up essentially.
Yeah. And also, it's interesting looking at like the first race, you know, and what literally happened.
Yeah.
You know,
it was.
What did you think of the race? Because I mean, if you were to ask me, dude, it was crazy. I mean, I didn't watch the race because I had like some things going on, but when I watched the highlights.
The highlights were insane.
You know?
Yeah.
If you look at the reigning world champion and what happened to him, what do you have to say about that?
So firstly, before we even get into that, just like you got to feel sorry for 2 teams. Aston Martin and McLaren. Because what happened to them? So Sebastian Vettel, he got COVID. He couldn't race for Aston Martin. So they brought in another driver, Nico Hülkenberg.
Nico, yes.
Yes, so he was racing for them. But
and apparently he's doing it again this coming race.
He might if Vettel's not recovered in time. But like Bahrain is not a track you can go on and just race. You know, you need practice. And that's also Daniel Ricciardo. He had COVID. He missed out so many days of practicing. I think he only recovered on Thursday. He came back for Friday testing or Friday practice and then Saturday qualifying. And you can tell, like, you can't memorize that track. It
was a bit complicated.
Unfortunate for them and Lando Norris as well. They struggled in the McLarens. I think Ricciardo, he didn't even finish.
I think he didn't. I could be wrong.
He either didn't finish or he finished last, and then Lando Norris wasn't far behind.
Yes.
The Aston Martins, when you look at the car reveals, their car was speculated to be one of the fastest. They had the whole gills and the side pod thing going on. People were saying that car looks like a swordfish type thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no, they have some work to do. But
I mean, if you look at, I think Kevin was
Kevin
number
Magnussen
5,
in the
obviously.
HAAS. Oh my word! So
Ooh.
in the last 3 years, I think it was, HAAS only scored 3 points. 3 years, 3 points.
3 points.
In the first race, they got 10 points.
Dude, they've scored more.
In one race in the last
than
3
them
years.
did-
100%. HAAS
Yeah,
has
true,
come
hey?
back kings.
Looks like Daniel did actually finish up, but he finished like number
Yeah,
14.
and I think
so
Schumacher
that was-
came 11th or 12th. Like he was just out of the points.
Yes, 11.
Yeah,
he was number
11. So
yeah.
I remember I was rooting for him. I was like, just get some points, Schumacher.
Yeah,
And then,
ne?
but Yuki was also, he was on fire. Eh?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at like these young oaks that are coming in now,
Yeah.
and sort of like how well they're doing, you gotta just clap hands for them, hey? You just, it's just amazing to see. This
Yeah,
younger
Formula One
generation
is a
coming
young
up.
sport. Max Verstappen was introduced when he was 17.
He was 17,
His
yeah.
debut race at Red Bull, he won. It's crazy. Charles Leclerc is only 24
Yeah,
now.
they're
and
quite
he's-
young.
They
They're
are
very,
quite
very
young.
young.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have your Alonso's still racing, but
No, but those are like, and even Hamilton, he's like 36 now.
I think he's 36, yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I guess if you're staying in shape and your skills are
You
on point,
still-
you can still race. But personally, I do think, not in a biased way, but the Hamilton era is over. The
It's
Mercedes
coming- it's
era
coming
is
to an
over.
end. It's coming
And not
to
just
an end.
because of Max Verstappen or Red Bull, but HAAS is catching up to them now. Ferrari are taking it 1 and 2 finish. It's
But you gotta give it to them. I mean, if you look at they had now George Russell in their
Yeah.
second seat, so
So
they're
they
also looking.
They are bringing it. I think they're also realizing. Listen, Hamilton won't be around forever. We need to bring up this new talent. We need
Yeah,
to.
we've done what we can do with it.
100%. We need to mentor Russell, get him up there to also podiums, winning races, winning world championships.
Yeah, true. Hey, true.
But yeah, in terms of actually, who are you rooting for first race going into it? Who would you want to see come out on top? I know you're a Ferrari driver, so you must be chuffed.
That's easy.
Yeah, Charles Leclerc first, Carlos Sainz second. Other than Ferrari, other than Red Bull.
I gotta tell you one thing. For me, this race was the most. It's one race I was so happy because
Yeah.
obviously I'm a Ferrari fan.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping the Ferrari will do well. That's what I'm hoping for. But I mean, if I was to not look at Ferrari, I think I'm rooting for HAAS, man.
I love HAAS. I just want.
You can put one in
I
here.
just want them to win something. Hey, they need a victory at this point.
Yes,
Shame.
yes. And I mean, I think I fell in love with their team principal when I watched
Gunther, yes,
the
it drives his vibe.
documentary,
He grips you, eh?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Right? So, but well, for you, what would you say? Who's gonna win the next one? Because you've asked me who's.
So there's an interesting trend, right? If you look at the last 5 years, at the first race, the person that finished first in that first race, ultimately in the championship, finished second. And the person that finished second in the first race won the championship.
see
So
where
last
you're
year,
going.
Hamilton came first,
Yes.
Verstappen came second. If you look at the championship, Verstappen won, Hamilton came second. It's been going on for the past 5 years.
Yeah,
So
man.
for the superstitious viewers out there, Charles Leclerc came first and Carlos Sainz came second. So if you're following trends, I'm going to say, I think Carlos Sainz might pull another bag.
Oh man,
and Charles
the
Leclerc.
season is still a bit too long, but we'll see.
It
We'll see how
is, but
goes.
I think in terms of Ferrari, if you look at them last year, right, they're so equal in terms of skill set in
Yeah,
the drivers, Ferrari.
And I mean, also the bromance between them is
Yeah,
so
it's
good.
true.
Man. Like
But
they get along.
for points last year, they were on par on points
Yeah.
every single race,
Yeah,
so
true.
I think the skill level is both up there. I think the only reason Sainz might take it is because he has the experience. He's been
Yeah.
racing a lot longer in different cars and things like that.
Yes.
But with these
He's
new
been
cars,
moving around,
it kind of takes experience out of it. It's all we're throwing you in the deep end, every one of you.
Still haven't answered my question. Who's coming out top at Saudi?
I have to root for Max as my boy,
Why
But
do people love
listen,
Max?
Because Max is the
He's
one.
good, he's good.
Max, I'll tell you people why they love Max. I think he brought something new into F1.
It was getting a bit.
It was getting too
Yeah.
repetitive. My dad, for example, he every weekend the guy was only watching F1, and all of a sudden he just stopped.
Yeah.
And I was like, how
because you
come?
already knew who's gonna win.
That's the thing. He was like, what's the
Yeah.
point of watching? Hamilton's going to win.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And now this threw in some excitement. Oh, Hamilton didn't win. What? This
Yeah.
could have been 7 in a row, 8 in a row, whatever.
But I mean, we could do a whole podcast about. I mean, I was watching the last season, Drive to Survive, and
Yeah.
I'm like, the stewards. I mean, I don't want to claim anything, but
it was rough.
It was rough.
That is a whole nother podcast in itself. Eh?
True.
But I do think so. After Red Bull's flop at Bahrain, because it was a flop, their powertrains, because what was it? Pierre Gasly.
Yeah.
He bummed out Verstappen, and then Perez in like the last lap, his engine just stalled.
Decided to give up.
Yeah, I was reading an article where Christian Horner even said, like, we're actually not even sure what it is yet. It's either the powertrain or the fuel pump
the
problems.
fuel pump. Yeah.
But
Because apparently, like they get similar fuel pumps or something like
yeah,
this. I
so
could be wrong.
yeah,
but,
so
like,
they're
they
all
get
running
given
under the same
Yeah.
engines, and Red Bull's in charge of all of that. So even the AlphaTauris, and you can see their engine flopped as well. But I think the said Red Bull will work hard to push, and because like even with their slightly slower, not perfected car,
Yeah.
Verstappen was keeping up with that Ferrari, and that Ferrari is quick. The only thing,
Yeah, those two cars are quick.
they're very quick.
Yeah.
The only thing why Leclerc might take it is because I think he's a smarter driver than Verstappen.
He's more calm also. I
He
think.
is, but
he's fast.
if you look at Bahrain, right? There's a long straight, your first DRS section.
Yes.
Verstappen made the lunge every chance he could. When I think it was towards the end, there was like 14, 15 or so laps, and that battle went on. And it was overtake after overtake, battle for first. Verstappen took the lunge down into turn one,
Yeah.
and it seemed like he was braking very late and jumping into it, and he got it. And then you take a turn, and you take another turn, and you enter DRS zone 2, and all of a sudden Leclerc is right behind you, and he can slip around you so easily.
So he's smart.
100%. And then you check the interview afterwards, or I think it wasn't an interview, there's an article, and then they interviewed him. Leclerc was actually braking earlier, and he was giving the position away to Max in the first DRS zone because he knew, listen, I'm going to be just behind him, 0.4 of a second behind him in DRS zone 2. My car's a lot faster. I have DRS as well. That's plus 18 kilometers in the straight slipstream around.
So
him.
you're saying it's between either Leclerc or Max?
100 Max has to defend his title. He's the man's a dog. He'll push for it. He will push for it.
He's a fighter. That I can tell you. He's
It's
a fighter.
definitely going to be an interesting season.
Yeah.
I love that throughout the whole race, the Mercedes didn't even touch P4 until the end. So it's like, yeah, you got to give it to them,
some
right?
other people for them to be
100%.
able to
Just to
gain
get
the
a
P4.
third place podium.
Yes.
Like, you got to give it to them. They won 8 championships in a row, but I think the Mercedes need to take a break now. Let HAAS get involved.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Give a chance to
100%.
to Kunta. Is it Kunta? How do you say it? Is it Kunta?
Gunther Steiner.
I love that guy. I love.
He's under pressure always.
Last point, and then we're gonna close. Last 5 minutes. I just wanted to ask you, Drive to Survive.
Cool.
Why would you recommend? Because it's the first episode
Yeah.
of F1. Why would you recommend that anybody watches it? I mean, it's like what, 10 episodes? And all of them are like 30
it's like
minutes or
between
something
8
like
to
this?
10.
Yeah, and there's like 4
Each-
seasons now.
4 seasons, yeah. For the thing that gripped me the most, production value. If you enjoy watching anything on a television, the first like 10 seconds alone, it just grips you. From the music, the shots, the editing.
And you must. There's one thing Greg told me. Greg from church. And said, if you're gonna be watching it, make sure like you have those big earphones.
Yes, because
zoom. And I was like, let me try it. Yo, it's epic.
I'm telling you, it's one of the best like sports documentaries there is out there. In the beginning, I would say they documented it very accurately.
Yes.
There was so much behind the scenes and like politics that you didn't know that was happening. Insights into the teams, the team principles.
Yes.
It just
And how it works. and how the whole
100%.
thing
It's such an
works.
easy way to learn Formula One because it is a complicated thing. You know, there's practice 1, practice 2, practice 3. Then you got qualifying. How does qualifying work?
Yeah.
There's different levels of qualifying. Then you have the race, and there's all these regulations.
Yeah.
Drive to Survive, it's like the best tutorial you'll ever find, basically.
True.
But I do think in the beginning it was purely behind the scenes based, show you exactly what's going on.
And it focused a lot on Daniel.
Daniel, I mean, he's like the
He was
poster boy for F1. You know, you can't hate on him no matter how.
And apparently, I read an article also that says at the first season when they sort of like presented it to the F1 association, they're like, Netflix said we want to do this, blah 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 blah, and Mercedes were very reluctant to the idea. A lot of teams were like, nah, you know.
Yeah.
And it actually took Red Bull to say, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
You know, you can actually.
But you can see that because the teams they focus on are the teams that are willing to, hey, come record in our garages and things like that.
Exactly.
But in this last season, there was actually a bit of controversy that I think a lot of people don't know about. So if you watch season 4, you'll see they focus on McLaren quite a bit, and there seems to be a rivalry between Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo.
Yes.
Yeah, they create
like
yes. So if you watch the races and everything, and you watch last season, I would have said there was a bromance going on between those two. You know, they're cool. They enjoy being in a team together. They racing as a team. But you watch Drive to Survive.
CEO also is not that bad. Like, he seems the CEO or the team principal.
Zach Brown. No, he's a good guy. He's just,
decent. Yeah.
He is quite nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll see for Drive to Survive, they make it out to be like, no, they pinned against each other. And there was an interview, 100%. And I was like, I didn't. And now I'm looking at Lando Norris, and I'm like, oh, he's actually not a decent guy because I'll favor Ricciardo. You know? So I'm like, oh, look, like Lando, I thought he was a good guy and everything. And then there's an interview with Max. They asked him, hey, Max.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Do you watch Drive to Survive? And he was like, nah, it's not for me.
Yeah.
They were like, why? And then he said, oh, it went from being a documentary to being all about drama, and they're creating these fake rivalries. And he commented and he said, look at Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo in the show. They make them seem like they're knocking horns and they're enemies, but
so it might not be all good, eh?
100%. He said in real life, like.
But I mean, I think he also said, I think I saw that on TikTok that just a snippet of it, and he was also saying that like he didn't actually take any interviews. Like, I was like, I didn't notice that when I was watching through.
I actually didn't as well, yeah.
And I was like, that's quite interesting.
They focus on Perez a lot, but not.
But I mean, again, you gotta give it to Netflix. It's all about the drive.
Yeah,
it
gets people hooked. You're getting the views. What are you gonna do, hey?
But my man, let's call it quits for today.
I think so, hey?
Yeah. But anyway, from my side, my man, that was good.
Good intro to Formula One. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. They must make sure everyone who's watching must make sure that they subscribe, like, and comment. And tell us,
don't forget to watch Drive to Survive. Yeah.
Are they paying you or something, man?
I wish. Oh my word.
Yeah. But guys, that's it from us. We're signing out. Boom.